YouTube. Alright, so I'm back. I took 40 days off. Sorry. Alright, so I wrote down a list because there's a lot of stuff I want to touch on, and hopefully this isn't like a 4-part video that goes on and on and on. But it might be. Okay, so what have I been doing in these 40 days? If you remember my previous video, the last thing I did was make an appointment with a reproductive endocrinologist, and then I had to wait 40 days until my appointment. So in the meantime, my husband and I have been spending every weekend house hunting. We finally found a house. The offer has been accepted. The inspection has been done, so now we're just waiting until closing. So hopefully come May, I'll be doing these videos from my wonderful new living room. That's the hope. And Apollo gets a backyard, so that's great. Apollo is here. He's sitting right next to me. I guess he doesn't realize that I'm on the camera yet, so he hasn't climbed up in my lap. But, you know, the video's not over yet. So, next on my list. Okay, so, also in the previous video, I asked for your guys' opinion on what you guys thought of a soy cycle. So I heeded your advice. I waited before taking Provera so that I wouldn't be like in the middle. I would be in the middle of my cycle at my appointment. Someone just walked by and Apollo perked up, so I wanted to wait to see if he was going to bark. He's still in obedience class. He's doing better. He might even make it to intermediate this time. Isn't that right? Maybe. So I took the Provera. I took it for 8 days because that's how many pills I was able to scrounge up. My cycle started on March 13th, and like I said, I took soy. So I took it cycle day 4 through 8. On cycle day 4 and 5, I took 80 milligrams, and cycle day 6, 7, and 8, I bumped it up to 120 milligrams. So each of my pills was 40 milligrams, so I took 2 pills the first 2 days and 3 pills the last 3 days. I took them all at lunch with food. I don't know if it matters, but I did. And then every day I've been taking an OPK, so I get to pee on a stick every day. It's currently cycle day 26 and nothing. Let me show you my graph. It's just as depressing as it usually is. And this is the previous graph. So this is from January 25th to March 12th. It's looking alright. I stopped temping for a week there. And then I started taking the Provera. These dots down here are for my Provera. You can see my temperature like shot through the roof. These blue down here, these are my vitamins. I take them every day. I'm really good at it because they're chewable and I have no excuse not to. So again, this is my graph for this month. Not looking very good. Yeah. This is soy. Alright, enough of that. So, my doctor's appointment was yesterday. So, in order to prepare for my doctor's appointment, I had to take a family history. So that's what I did this weekend. First I called Chris's mom, and it was really good because it gave me an opportunity to it gave me an excuse to talk to her about what's going on with the fertility issues and the PCOS, and it also let me talk to her about how I feel about Jessica being pregnant. Some of you saw the video that I did mid-January about my sister-in-law telling us that she was pregnant. So I was able to tell her that I'm happy for her and I want to know what's going on, but I'm just not handling it very well. So if I can see updates on her Facebook or her MySpace or something like that, then I'm fine with it. But if my sister-in-law were to call me and go on and on about how wonderful being pregnant was, I'd probably start crying. So, but the wonderful thing is my mother-in-law she understood completely. I'm blessed to have a mother-in-law that is wonderful. Although Chris and I are newlyweds, we've been together 6.5 years, and Brenda and I have been close since the beginning. So I'm her only daughter-in-law. Her son-in-laws aren't, that close to her or anything. So I'm just like the 4th kid. So So she totally understood, she took it really well, done. So then I had a pretty good idea of what my family health history was, but my mom is not very good with like details and specifics and anything. She's a little scatterbrained. So I called up Aunt Debbie because I wanted to verify that everything I had written down was correct. And also, growing up, I'd already heard like Debbie wanted more kids, but she ran out of eggs. The end. And I thought that was kind of weird. And so, and my mom and Aunt Debbie were both diagnosed with diabetes in the past year. And we know like PCOS has insulin resistance, so I wanted to talk to her about her symptoms when she had fertility issues and what she was diagnosed with, what the doctors told her, etc. So she said that back in the 70s, she had her son Aaron in 1970, and then she waited 2 years, and then she tried to get pregnant again. And she kept thinking that she was pregnant because, you know, she'd have a period, and then she would, you know, have timed intercourse, and then she wouldn't have her period, and so she would test and she wouldn't be pregnant, and then, you know, 3 months later she would get her period, and it was just crazy. And the doctors just told her, you know, you've just run out of eggs. And she didn't really buy that, and I was like, well, tell me your symptoms. And I was like, besides the missed periods, what did you have? And she's like, you know, I broke out all the time, and I had weight issues, I had hair issues, and she was like, I really think it was an issue with my endocrine system. I think to this day I still have issues with my endocrine system. And I was like, well, I was diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is an endocrine disorder. And I was like, and it sounds like you had a lot of the same symptoms. And she was like, so you're going to a fertility specialist? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, that's good. She's like, because when I was 27, I had premature ovarian failure and I went into menopause. So I guess I just never really thought that I like waited that long, and I never realized that it happened that soon to Aunt Debbie. But for me, 27, this like looming age now, 27 is 14 months away. So that is very scary. And granted, it's not necessarily going to happen to me, but my mom and Aunt Debbie, their father's mother, she went through menopause at 26. My grandfather is an only child. So obviously it comes from the Swedish line. So I mean, there's a prevalence of early menopause, which no one really stressed me. We have a very small family. I think I have 4 cousins on my mom's side and 2 cousins on my dad's side. That's just like nothing. I mean, Chris's father has 9 siblings. His mom has 4 siblings. I just come from a very small family, and there's not that many people, and so we don't really, it takes a while before you see patterns like this, and this is definitely now a pattern. So she was like really glad that I was going and taking care of it now. And I am too, because I mean, I want to have lots of kids. I'm not opposed to adopting, fostering, anything, but I do want a biological child. I figure my husband and I are very intelligent people and we love each other very much, and we've done everything right. You know, I mean, we've got our education, and we have good jobs, and we're getting a house, and we have a cute dog, and, you know, we want the family. And it just seems like everyone around us is reaching that goal, and hopefully we're now one step closer. I just have to like put it up to faith and hope, I guess. But be proactive as well. Let me check my time.